Okay, everything should be sorted now. The audio guys got everything under the control. I'm sorry for the rough beginning, but back to the stream. So, as you can see, Maz now is playing on the Dwerg Forest. He's enjoying himself and trying to get some loot while hiding in the snow. I've mentioned in the beginning that you may have noticed that it's Maz, our designer responsible for the shooting mechanics and the gameplay itself. And I'm Pettka. I'm the project lead of Vigor. Yeah, you may have noticed that Pirit and Norway are here because they are now heading to PAX. So they are going to provide you with some more information from the US on their social networks. It's great to see all of you back in the chat. Currently we are preparing the stream like there's going to be the gameplay as it is now. You can see as Maz is trying to disable someone. And then we are going to provide you with some information about the updates we are preparing. Yeah. As Maz is responsible for all the shooting and he's now playing the 0.5 version, could you possibly tell us what's the biggest difference that you are now working on?
Yeah, we've been altering a lot of the aim mechanics. There are a few bugs with aiming itself, which is why sometimes shots weren't quite going on target. We've been tweaking recoil and spread and sway so that weapons feel a bit more accurate. Just now pulling them from the very accurate values we had before to something that feel a bit more fun in the game.
Yeah, cool. Like the first question that I've seen is about the knives actually. So you may have noticed that there was some knife meta at the very beginning, and now there's not so many players using the knives. So what actually happened?
We rebalanced some of the knife damage so that it would be less, and we're bringing in, over the course of the next couple of updates, new ways for players to combat stabby attacks. Hang on. Oh, no! Ah.
That happens all the time. Yeah, so at the very beginning there was some, let's say, knife meta, which means that most of the players were using knives because they were the favorable weapon. That in the end resulted in some rock, paper, scissors scheme, because knives are the most easily countered weapon by shotguns. So shotguns were perceived as OP because they were able to kill all the knifers, people with the knife. And then people started actually using the assault rifles instead because they are able to counter the shotguns with the assault rifles, and then themselves being countered by the knives. So that's the rock, paper, scissors. So where are you heading now?
I'm gonna go to Tog Station and see if I can do any better.
Nice, cool. Yeah,
but yeah, we've also been I've been tweaking the shotguns as well, so they're slightly more spread. We'll be doing a damage balance pass once we've got all the weapons feeling good, just so that we can adjust so death doesn't feel too instant.
Yeah. Is there some plan for us to have something like the down state or something like that?
Yeah, we'll be introducing over the next couple of updates, first of all, stagger state, so if you get shot or melee attacked, your character will react. This also means if someone is coming to attack you, you can push them away using your gun, so you've got a better chance at shooting them.
Nice.
So it should kind of alleviate the knife-only meta, and knives would then become something for last-ditch attacks or for stealthing.
Yeah.
Along with that, we'll have a down state, so if I take enough damage, you shoot me in the head. Instead of dying straight away, I'll go downed. So I'll be stunned for a short period of time, so players can come loot me or shoot me in the head or leave me and let me come back to life again and try again. To kind of give players a second chance. Obviously, lots of things could change as we're testing and tweaking it over the next couple of months, but we hope it will feel solid.
Wow, that's cool. I'm glad to hear that. Like, we've deployed already some fix in that regard, like 2 weeks ago, some first round of balancing of the weapons. So you may have noticed, for example, the fire modes now are in a better order for you. So when you start, you are on full auto, and you don't need to switch that. Usually people are switching the fire modes to full auto. We realized that using our data, so we decided, yeah, okay, let's make it the Russian way, because as you know, all the Russian AKs have safety, full auto, and then single. So yeah, we changed the weapons to this pattern without the safety, because there's no safety in Vigor. Yeah.
There is no safety in Vigor. It's dangerous everywhere you go.
Yeah, so you need to be prepared all the time, otherwise someone's able to shoot you down. Yeah. So that's one of the changes. The other is that, for example, Suomi had the issue with the precision, as far as I remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've rebalanced the Swami, so it's, believe, less precise than it was before.
I think
was
it's
it the
actually
other way around?
It's actually more precise. So you are able to actually score more hits, but still the damage of the bullets, because it's just the pistol round, is not that big. So it's going to take more hits to actually down some player in case that you need someone disabled. Yeah.
We've
So,
also
but-
added
yeah.
in the, should be coming with the next update, weapons will have better penetration through wood
Wow,
and
that's
foliage.
cool.
So
Yeah.
if you ever have a fear of a closed door, you can take a shot through it and you do some damage.
Yeah, that's cool. There is a question if we are going to have some kind of a roadmap or something like that. To that, we would rather want to not overpromise things at the very beginning. We can show you what we have under the covers, because I have a small presentation ready, and during the stream I'm going to show you what's actually in the game in our builds that we are playtesting. But meanwhile, we are not going to promise you anything that we don't have covered, because we've got burnt several times before. Yeah. So we are more aiming for delivering everything. Yeah. People are asking about the regions and the servers. So, Maz, do you happen to know how many the regions do we have for the servers?
No, I don't. How many do we have?
Actually, we have 6 regions. One of them is for Europe. The other is... Oh. Nice kill. All clean.
There we go.
He was going for you with the knife. Well, one of the regions is Europe. Then we have 3 distinct regions in the US, West, East, and Central. Then there's one more region for South America, and one more region for Australia. But if your matchmaking takes so long, it's going to adjust the scale on the regions that you are searching for the servers. So it can even happen that people from, for example, from Australia are going to play on North American servers because there are more players at the time. So that's our system, how to make it easier for you to connect to the match or to the encounter, to be precise. But the downside is obviously that sometimes it's going to be a bit more laggy. There's going to be a bit more delay that you can notice. That's most likely going to get better after the release, after we go free to play, because that means that there may be more players.
There will be.
Yeah. We've played actually this map today during the playtest. Did you encounter anything strange over here?
No, when I was in here, I was lucky enough to not suffer from any of the map problems. I was spending most of my time hiding in a bush waiting for people to walk past though, so.
Yeah. Because one of the things that we are now testing is adding some more events to the encounters, like not only having the starting phase where you are just collecting the loot, but then goes the airdrop and then you go away because of the radiation. We are trying more events, and one of the events is even having some houses barricaded.
Oh, there we go.
That looks like teamers to me, yeah.
They can eat my gun. Come on.
The cool thing about teamers is that you have plenty of targets to kill.
Yep. And with the update, it should be easier to aim at them.
Yeah. like the other thing that we are actually working on is some pair mode. So we are preparing the mode for people who would actually like to play with their friends, against people who play with the friends. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting those modes in because I'm more I prefer playing with other people that I know.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh, there we go.
Nice one.
Now where's the second one then? Ah, there we go.
Maybe they weren't teaming. It was just one of them hunting the other.
I'm gonna pretend they were teaming and go chasing.
Just give it a try. Yeah, so the objective currently is to gather the airdrop, and if you go to the airdrop, you can possibly gather the box of valuables. On the other hand, that's not the only objective for you. Like, you can loot the stuff in the level and work on improving your shelter. So there's the team on the right. On the right.
On the right?
Yep.
With it. I'm snowblind.
A bit to the left, most likely, if he didn't go for exit. Yeah. Like, that's another way how to play in teams. Like, just watching one screen and getting out of ammunition.
Ah!
Better luck next time. Yeah. What weapons are we preparing for the next update? Is there anything new that you would like to speak of?
Oh, we have a whole raft of weapons. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but I do know we have some amazing sniper rifles coming to the game, more scoped weapons.
Cool.
We've been changing the iron sights and some of the existing weapons.
Wow.
Tracers should be coming in, so it should be easier to see where you're getting fired from and potentially what kind of weapon will be coming towards you.
Nice. Could you possibly tell me something more about the optics on the weapons? How does this going to work?
We have basically 3 sights in each weapon, iron sights where you just aim down the sight, no optics involved. Then a 4x scope, which gives you 4 times the shooting, and then a 6x scope, which is much clearer.
Nice.
And should allow for more precise play. In one of the place tests, everyone was just using sniper rifles, and it felt like a completely different game. It was very, very, very tense.
I could imagine, yeah.
I'll check that one good with. Yeah, I'll go with that again.
Yeah. If something doesn't die of AK, then it wouldn't die anyway. Yeah.
Go back to the forest. No, but since working in the game, I've just been loving the environments. They're just so kind of atmospheric, very bleak and desolate. It's easy to sit in with the headphones on, just think I am in a snowy forest somewhere, the only person there.
Yeah.
Getting the feel when the gunshots start in the background.
Wow. There's a question if you are playing using the standard setting or you have changed the advanced setting. Most likely I can answer the question instead of you, because it's actually my account that you are playing on. So yeah, the setting is changed a bit because I like it more vertical than horizontal. So my aim in the horizontal, in the vertical direction is actually muffled, and the aim in vertical is actually accented. Yeah, so yeah, we can show off while waiting for the match, for the encounter.
This is something I'll hopefully be diving into before the next update as well, just changing the language slightly.
Yeah, one thing is changing the language, the other is getting all the data and most likely doing some preset, because currently we were just blind in the snow, trying to guess what are the best values based on our experience, but there's just a handful of people playing here. Like the whole dev team is like 70 people, but when you get feedback from all of you guys out there, it's much better to get some better expectations on how to set everything right. So what kind of networks do you check when you want to see the feedback?
Me, I look in the Discord channel, not posted yet, but living there, set in Reddit as well. Just reading, so I've been seeing the comments about all the weapons and thinking about how to tweak them, because obviously one person's overpowered weapon is someone else's, they don't really care. So trying
Yeah.
to find something that basically all weapons will have utilities, so it should cater for all playstyles. And if you want to go in smooth and silent, you've got the weapon choices there. If you'd rather go in kind of loud and noisy,
Yeah.
we'll have the guns there, and it'll feel nice.
Cool. Like I can see a lot of people in the chat that I know, for example, from Twitter or from Twitch, Mixer. When I watch the streams, usually I'm just lurking around. So there's a plenty of people in the development team just lurking around, going around those social networks and checking what's going on. So if you mention something, most likely we know about that.
Yeah, every morning my routine is make a cup of tea, log onto Reddit, and just go through the posts from the night before, see what's new, and then do the same through Discord, just so I've got an idea of where players are thinking.
Yeah, and then added to that, we have some data from the players, like directly from the analytics in the game. So that provides us with some qualitative data, quantitative data. Yeah.
Analytics are a beautiful thing because we can find so much information and see how things are being used to see if it's kind of hitting our design goals and what we want the game to be.
Exactly. Yeah. As you were mentioning the weapons before, for the next update, do we have some weapon with the suppressor planned? Like with the sound suppressor?
Not sure. We do have a couple that I've been playing with. I'm not sure if this update or the next one, but there will be suppressed weapons.
Yeah, definitely. Like we are preparing them. One thing that's worth mentioning is that it's all about the weapons, not about the accessories. So yeah, you are going to get the suppressed version of the weapon, and that's going to be suppressed forever. It's not going to be like changeable for you. Another question from the chat is about the shelter. People are wondering if their shelter is going to be reset when we launch out of the game preview into the free-to-play mode. So our plan is to most likely do a wipe during game preview, but at the very end of game preview, if it's possible, then we would like to have no wipe. So we are going to have some head start as the founders before people who are actually going to join the game for the launch. Yeah.
That sounds good. I'm excited with what we'll be doing with the shelter.
Yeah, like generally speaking, if it's possible, we would like to not wipe anything, but sometimes it may be possibly necessary, so we are just reserving the option. Like it's not like we would like to do that. It's just, hey guys, please be patient. Like there are something that may possibly break the whole game if we don't change them. So that may possibly require some wipe. Most likely, there's going to be a wipe when we are going to introduce the monetization, because there are more levels of the shelter available for you, stuff like that. But still, we are more concentrating on the core loop of the game. That leads to another question: when is going to be the next update? Like the major update, that's going to take some time. But we are preparing some minor update for this week, which is going to address several issues, like with interacting with the objects and even some possible crashes. So that's going to most likely help with the stability of the game. Currently, our data shows that there is roughly 5% of the encounters ending with the crash. So that's something that we would like to get rid of.
Are any of the weapon changes going to feature in the next update, or are they being saved for the larger update?
Like most of the weapon changes are actually going to be in the major update, and that's going to take some time because there are several technologies that need to work together. Like for example, we are working on changing the bullet spread a lot. Currently, when you take a look at the spread of the weapons, the distribution of the bullets is randomized, like completely randomized, but in real life when you take a look, it's actually more of a Gaussian curve. So that's something that we have already prepared, and we need to deploy that. The same goes.
That's
Yeah,
in and ready.
yeah.
That's what I've been
Uh, I-
tweaking.
exactly. So yeah, we've already given it a try, and it feels much better. So as soon as we are ready to deploy that to the wild, we are going to let you know.
I'm looking forward to it because it does feel like two different games just now from
Yeah.
what I was playing an hour ago in my
Yeah.
test scene and then coming into this.
The question is, do you happen to know if there's going to be more kind of grenades? More kinds of grenades?
There's plans for, I believe so far, I think it's fragmentation grenades and smoke grenades with potentially grenade launchers.
Wow, that's going to be mean.
Oh, well, we have a long list of amazing weapons. I can't wait to...
Indeed. Another question that I encountered in the chat, thanks a lot guys for the questions, is if you are able to loot the clothes of the people that you see in the encounters.
No, I don't believe that's in plans because the clothes are mainly cosmetic. They'll
Exactly.
be primary monetization method.
Yeah, exactly like that. So the plan is to provide you with some way how you can possibly choose your visual style, and that's the cosmetic part. The clothes shouldn't affect even the gameplay at all.
No,
Like there's several kinds of backpacks, but all of them have the same capacity. So where it is? Where's the airdrop? Where's the airdrop? Get the airdrop. Or not?
this is where I'll get shot.
Yeah.
Oh, one of the other changes, which we'll see in the large update, is we had a strange bug where small bushes would absorb all your bullets and projectiles. So my favorite tactic of hiding in bushes will no longer work.
Yeah, like that's going to be fixed a lot. Yeah. Another question was about the endgame content. Like if you have anything set in stone for that. So currently, it's more like we are working towards to that goal. As you can see, currently there's just 6 levels of the shelter available for you. The next update is going to have 11 of them, if I'm not mistaken. And then we would like to have another update, which is going to provide you with the full scale of the shelter, even before the release to the free-to-play. Yeah. Is there actually anyone in the map?
Yeah. Somewhere. They're gonna kill me as soon as I... There we go. Oh, this is where it all goes wrong.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Just run up the hill, yeah.
Oh. Oh, there we go.
There were several of them, and the guy's now dead.
Oh.
So, yeah. He won himself nothing. Okay. I'm going to break you for a bit,
Okay.
and we are going to show you something from the development. Like, for example, we have this. As you may possibly notice, this is a new part of the shelter. This is something that's not going to be actually functional for the next update, but the shelter itself is going to have a big overhaul. So the way you know the shelter, there's going to be big changes in that, like mostly visual, but even some of the improvements are going to be moved around the shelter. Yeah. What the hell?
Oh, just another wee technical difficulty.
Yeah. With the shelter, we are even working on how to improve the actual shelter building, because there are some changes that we would like to have. One of them is that there's no cap for the materials. That's one thing. The other is that you actually don't require materials for the leveling up of the shelter, and we would like to visualize for you more what are you actually able to build and what are the levels of the shelter necessary for anything that you would like to build. Something for you. There are more kinds of uniforms and other slots. We would like to have all the face wear available for you in the next update, like
Nice.
both the upper face wear, that means gloves, goggles, stuff like that, possibly even the masks or scarves and stuff like that. Yes, there's a lot for you. As for the weapons and their crafting, we would like to provide you with the option to make it easier to have some queue for crafting, and with that we would like to introduce even some rarity of the weapons or of everything. So at the first sight you are able to distinguish if something is more rare than something else. You can see that by the color coding. That goes even with the wooden boxes. Like it's going to be even more rewarding for you to open them. There are going to be some cards in them that are going to provide you with different kind of materials, items, stuff like that, and all those things are going to be of different rarities. The biggest thing, and this is just a concept, keep in mind, is that we are going to add the groups, and this is the concept on how the actual interface for the groups could possibly look like. The groups at the very beginning are going to be for 2 people, like for pair, and we would even like to add some game mode that's going to be playable in pairs. And as you can see, this is how the levels look like now. It's pretty clean, and our director did a sketch like this that shows how the levels should actually look like to tell the story that happened in the Cold War that actually gone hot. And our artists and the level designers are doing their best to actually make that happen. So this is how it looks now, and as you compare it to the current state, it's something completely different. Yeah.
Just given environments that kind of lived in, ran away from feel. Apply a lot more despair.
Yeah. So those are the things that we are working on now, or at least the taste of them. There's more coming. As we already mentioned, there are things to improve the shooting itself or the general gunplay, and we are working even on the stability of the game. And even, for example, the UI for the map is going to be a bit more readable for you because those times actually are hard to read. What does it actually mean? I've seen several people on Gamescom, like not me myself, but people on the Gamescom from the team who were there have seen several people who have actually wondered if those times is how long would it take to travel there. So yeah, those are the things that we would like to make clearer for you, to clean the UI and make it easier for you to get into the game. There's even a question about the female characters. Generally, we are planning to add them. Most likely it's not going to be in this update, but in the next one. And I think that people from our marketing team are going to be more than happy to show it on the next stream. Like Per is going to show you how the women characters look like in the game, and I'm really looking forward to see the reactions to that. Yeah. So it's still going to take some time for us to finalize the update. Meanwhile, we are going to do some small updates for you. The first one is going to be most likely even this week. So
Awesome.
that's going to help with the stability of the game. It's going to help with the interactions with the objects that you are looting, because it's going to be much easier for you to loot from bigger distance, or not from bigger distance, but to get the interaction button from the correct distance. Yeah. There's another question.
Yeah.
Do you think that we are going to add some AIs or NPCs or stuff like that?
there's always the potential, but that would be further on along the road. I would like to see us complete the. We have some really exciting plans for
Yeah.
the game over the next few months until go free to play with full release. So I'd like to see us finish them, polish them off, and then I would love to see things like that. Oh, wait and see.
Exactly. Like we are now more focusing on the core gameplay, and then eventually we are going to work towards adding more stuff even after release, because yeah, the game is going to be supported for a long time. That's the Bohemia way. Yeah. People are actually wondering what's the weapon that you have now.
It is the KS-23.
Yeah.
And I've just realised I've came into it without any ammunition, so this will be hopefully not short and sweet. But it's a lovely pump action shotgun, and hopefully I'll get a chance to use it.
Yeah. The cool thing is that this shotgun is actually in your secondary slot because it's short. So you can still have some assault rifle or even some machine gun, stuff like that, while having the shotgun with you in case that you go into close quarters encounters. Yeah. You are still asking about how often are the players going to get the updates. Our plan is to have the updates as much as possible after the free-to-play release. It's going to be most likely monthly updates. Like we have content prepared for that, or not prepared, but we have plans for content that we should be able to deliver in months basis. Yeah. Obviously, people are asking about guns like VSS or VAL, if those sniper rifles are going to get into the game.
I'm not going to spoil the surprise, but
Exactly.
some of those weapons put a smile on my face. My day involves coming in the morning after looking at social media, loading up my test level, and hearing gunshots until the end of the day. As just going through different situations with weapons. Oh! Eep! Die!
He's not dying.
It's not hurting me either. Oh!
Yeah,
there we go.
This is clearly the advantage of the shotguns over the knives. Even people with knives are able to get some damage to you. The shotguns are much superior in the damage on the close range. Yeah, if you are able to hit someone.
Come on, heal up.
Yeah, people are actually wondering about the UI of the game. If we are going to make, for example, the health bar bigger, would you like to do something like that?
Personally, I'd like to offer some UI customization so players can change the color of the UI elements themselves, because I just struggle with white.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be looking at the UI over the course of the next couple of months, taking on everyone's feedback and coming out with something that'll be lovely.
Yeah, like we are still working on the UI. Currently, what's in progress is even providing some colorblind variant of the UI. Like currentently, the UI is mostly black and white, but as we are going to add more colors, it's going to be with colorblind people in mind. Yeah.
Oh, another update that went in recently is all weapons now have a weight, which also affect the noise you make as you're coming through the scene.
Yeah.
So it will then give players that want to run about with a knife the slight advantage that they will be more quieter, but then again, if you have a pistol or a submachine gun, you'll also be much quieter.
Yeah. People are asking about different game modes. Do we have any idea on different game modes now?
There's a variety of brainstorms on what we
Yeah.
should do for the next game modes and how we can tie it into like paired modes. So it'll just be a case of waiting and seeing. Probably after the next update, we should have some more kind of solid plans.
Yeah. The one thing that we are working on is the game mode for the pairs. The other thing is that this airdrop game mode, how we call it, is going to be a bit more spiced up in the starting phase with more events, stuff like that. and those events are going to be more randomized. It's going to be every encounter different, not only in the way how players are going to behave, but even in the ways how the encounter is going to go. Currently, it's like, okay, the encounter starts, I'm waiting for the airdrop, looting stuff, then after I get the airdrop, I leave the map, or I die, which is mostly the case for me.
Oh, oh well.
Yeah.
He looks good in this stuff, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, the events should add a lot more variety to each match. Should allow players to kind of have their own objectives of, am I going to take the risk to investigate what's happening here, won't spoil anything, before then going for the chase for the airdrop loot.
Yeah. People are asking about different variations of melee weapons. Do we have more of them in plans now?
Just now we're sticking mostly to knives, but
Yeah.
there's always the potential in the future that I would quite enjoy running about with a hammer.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of fun in those weapons. On the other hand, they are much more difficult to produce because it needs specific animations that won't work in different stances. So there are always some drawbacks that we need to consider if it's worth it or not.
The whole melee system itself should be getting an overhaul in the coming months, so it should be
Yeah.
a better experience for those stabbing and those getting stabbed.
Yeah. People are actually asking if we are going to remove the instant extraction points.
Yes.
It's already done.
Yes, it's done.
Yeah, so this is something that we have staged for the next update. It's going to take the time for you. We are testing it, and if we see that it's actually working well, then we are going to use it. Yeah. And one more thing that we are testing a lot in our environment is changes in the sound. Like we have several of those changes next to be prepared to be deployed even in some minor patch, minor update. So that's something that we are considering to release in a week or two. Like if everything goes well, we should be able to do so. Yeah. But then our programmers are even working on stuff like improved audio system. So there's a lot of improvements. One of the things that I miss the most when I play the version that's in public is actually the opening of the door.
Oh, right.
Yeah, like it's a huge change when I go to the playtest and go to the door and just hear the squeak.
That's why I'd made the change so you can shoot through doors as well. So if
Yeah.
you're sitting, exploring a house, you hear the front door open, you've got that moment of, okay, well if I hide behind the door, maybe I can shoot them before they open it.
Yeah. You've mentioned that there's going to be some changes in the wave of the weapons. How does it affect your sound? Is even the stance of your character going to affect that? Like if you are, for example, crouching, is it going to be more silent?
It should do, I think. I'll need to double check upstairs. And
yeah, like people were just asking about that, so I just forwarded the idea for you. Yeah, most likely we are going to make something like that. Yeah. And one more thing that kind of keeps repeating itself is the question about the body armor. Do we have the plans for the body armor?
Not in the near future. One day it could be possible. It's something
Exactly.
I'd like to see, but that relies on us having a completely balanced base game that we can then build up out of, because otherwise we could just start introducing new components that aren't quite right, and then things could get messy. I would rather we stick to the kind of foundation plans.
Yeah, like that kind of goes against the idea of having the visual style or the clothing of the player just as visual modification, like the customization that affects how you look, so you can just express yourself. Yeah, so most likely we are not going to add any body armor anytime soon.
I shall get some practice in while I'm waiting.
Yeah. Yeah. One more thing that people would like to add is some wildlife, like some animals, stuff like that. Currently, we don't have any plans for that, but we are considering how to make that happen and investigating that because you may possibly know that part of Bohemia Interactive is the former Cauldron Studio in Bratislava, and those guys made those hunting games, so they are really well known for making the wildlife. So that's something that we are actually investigating if they may help us. Okay. Yeah. The thing is that they are now working mostly at Daisy and the website there. So as the teams are separated for different games, we are going to share the information a bit later. Yeah, like their current focus is actually to deliver Daisy to all of you. People were asking if they can see the settings that you have yet again.
Oh yeah,
so
of
could
course.
you possibly, yeah, show the advanced controls? Yeah, as you can see, I play with kind of non-standard settings in regard of the distribution between the horizontal and vertical axis, and yeah, I work more with having the outside dead zones usable for fast turning around, while the inside the dead zones are just for some precision shooting, and you are going into the encounter now. Yeah, we were discussing the melee weapons, but what about punching someone? Like barehanded?
It's potentially in the plan, depends on, as we rework the melee system, if it will be viable to get completed for full release. It all depends on that. Focus is initially on melee, but sorry, knives and guns themselves. But if we can, and we can do it well for you guys, then it's definitely something we'd like to see. We've got a good team working on it.
Yeah. People would like to know if we are going to add some stats for them, because yeah, we've mentioned that we have the analytics data that provide us with stats on how do they use, how do people use different weapons, including us. So yeah, I always see the small spike. That's someone missing everything. That's me. Yeah, but are we going to add some more stats visible even in the game?
Oh yeah, during the reward screen, the plan is to show players how they've been doing, if they've made any great achievements, as well as, if possible, share some from that instance of the map.
Nice, that's cool. With the reward screen, that reminds me, there's one more thing that we would like for the beginning of the match, the lobby. Isn't
That's in the plan.
Yeah.
Won't be the next update, but within the next couple of large ones, we should have a multiplayer lobby of some kind.
Yeah, cool. Like, that's the thing that I'm really looking forward to, because then I can see who I'm actually facing. Because sometimes I don't see anyone in the whole encounter. Sometimes I see the couple of people just trying to kill me. But yeah, like knowing what are the odds could possibly help.
I'm looking forward to finding out the names of the people who shot me so I can add them to the list.
Yeah. As we can see, now you can see the cursor in the middle of the screen, like the dot. Is there going to be something like that even for unarmed state?
We'll need to wait and see when we update the system. Was chatting with chat with Anton today about the principles of what we want to change.
Yeah.
So it should be. Oh, there we go. Oh, no. Where'd you go?
You are more of a hunter, it seems.
Yeah, that sitting in my room shooting guns all day. It's nice to shoot people back. Oh,
Yeah.
hang on. No, there are loads of things I'd love to add to the game, but we always have to bear in mind we have the release date of when we want to go free to play, and we want to make sure everything is polished and solid.
Yeah, and then even after the release, we are going to add more and more. So the work's not going to stop with the release itself.
No, it should only just grow in what we're building. So think of it just now as early access to free to play, setting the foundations. Then after that, community feedback as well comes into it. We'll see what next to maybe add to the game.
Exactly. People are asking about the crouch, if it provides you with some advantage.
Changing stance affects your weapon's accuracy, the spread of the weapon, and the sway to a slight extent. The version I was testing earlier today has completely different settings to what we have just now.
Yeah, exactly.
So the changes were going down. Oh,
yeah.
There we go. So as you can see, crouching, come down, the changes are very minute just now.
Yeah. Like that's something that I noticed recently, and that's when I go with the shotgun and I go to the standing position, then my spread is like insane, like all over the screen. While when I go to crouch, it's pretty precise. So that's something that we would like to add. Yeah, like we have it already in our builds, and we are going to provide that later on.
Oh, miles away. Also, lots of changes coming to the minimap.
Yeah.
Lots of changes coming everywhere.
Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot to show you how the minimap could possibly look like in the next update. Like we are still testing different things and see what's going to be the best. There's a good question for you. Is there anything that you would like to add but you can't?
Oh, lots and lots and lots and lots. And I'm a game designer. It's all I do is create work for everyone else. But been making games for a very long time, so no, we need to get the foundation of the house built before we start building the roof.
Yeah.
But hopefully in time we'll see all my wildest dreams come in the game.
Yeah.
Although the content we already have planned is exciting enough.
Cool. People are actually asking what's the game. So could you possibly describe how do you see the game itself? Like what's the game for you?
Terrifying, usually.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I haven't screamed yet.
No really scream this time?
No, not yet.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
doing my best. It's probably probably because the audio is so low. Someone else shot me. There
Over
he is.
there, yeah. Nice. Have you possibly get yourself in the cover? Like you are near your death?
Oh.
Yeah. And indeed, we've heard your player, and the antibiotics are going to be a bit weaker. Like currently, they are considered to be too OP.
Yeah, they're super drugs.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. For me, I find Vigor as a quite terrifying experience. It's at its heart a loot and shoot game, but all the choices are down to me. If I want to take the risk for the reward, it's up to me. It's my choice if I'm gonna go out and encounter other players or do my best to slink away and hide from them. Usually I play slinking and hiding, but that wouldn't be very interesting on the stream, just watching me play.
That makes sense, yeah.
One game in a bush.
Yeah. Like, I'm mostly trying to work on my shelter. Like, loot as much as possible and then go from the map. Like, the encounters, as I'm a terrible shoot, mostly I'm just trying to gather as much as possible and then getting out.
But with the next update, you won't be as terrible a shot.
Yeah, indeed. And one thing that you reminded me of now is that we plan even to add some possibilities of loadouts in the future, because having to put everything on your own every time you die, it's kinda.
We can make it nice.
Yeah.
Plus, it's always good if you want to go for a looting kind of mission, take the lighter weapons, maybe that secondary shotgun or a pistol, or if you decide you want to use the sniper rifle and find that person that's been killing you.
Yeah. Actually, there was a good question that I've seen recently on Reddit. If it's actually worth killing people.
It's all player choice. I've had quite an interesting experience last week. Playing a game, I saw someone else, they saw me, we both had our weapons drawn, but we just kind of circled around each other and then pulled away, just constantly walking backwards, staring at each other. I died later on, don't know if it was that same player, but it was one of those nice kind of touching moments of, I will shoot you if you don't shoot me, so it's up to players. I would like to, well, we all would like to find other ways to promote some forms of cooperation through different game modes itself.
Exactly. Like in the next update, we would like to add the gestures. So yeah, you can at least somehow communicate to the rest of the players that you would like to be friendly without actually yelling into your mic. Yeah. That's one thing. The other thing is that if you actually kill someone, then you are able not to only grab their weapons, because that's the current state, but you should be even able to get the loot that they've gathered. So they are still going to get the materials, but on the other hand, you are going to get the materials, not the materials, but the actual loot for them, which is more valuable for you for advancing the shelter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll change the dynamic of the game as well as you're playing it. Do you have enough loot yet, or are you going to be greedy and chase for more? I'm always slightly too greedy.
Yeah.
But it's worth it when it works.
People are asking for one more feature, and that's leaning. Do you think that's something that we would like to do?
Potentially, we are looking at the whole movement and locomotion system, but would like to get the basics right first before seeing what else.
Yeah. And currently, we are kind of fighting with one more thing that doesn't allow us to do the leaning as we would like to, and that's the lack of inputs on the gamepad. Like, some of us are used to make games like Arma 3, where you need to have a keyboard, a mouse, then the secondary keyboard and the third keyboard with all the Control-Alt combinations just to try to get somewhere. So now with the gamepad, we are kind of limited in that regard, but this limitation actually provide us with the way to choose the most important things.
If we can find a way that feels good, then we will do our best to investigate it. But
one thing that you can possibly answer the best is if we are going to improve the aiming down the sights.
Yes, that's already been improved quite drastically. There was a few small bugs and issues with how the system was working before, so with the next update it should be a lot more fluid. When you're shooting down iron sights, your projectiles will be going roughly where they're meant to be going, within the bounds of spread and sway.
Nice, that's cool. Would you like to have some camouflage in the game?
Isn't that planned, some of the cosmetics? Oh, that was for the guns.
Yeah, like we are definitely going to have some different skins for the weapons, but as for the player uniforms, there are going to be some variations. Like what you see now, it's just the very basics. But like we don't want to add anything like, for example, the ghillie suits or anything like that, because that would provide the players with some gameplay advantage. And as we mentioned before, the way the cool thing works should be more of expressing yourself than providing you with the gameplay advantage.
Yeah, I know for a start, as we get some of the more colourful cosmetics made, they're all I'll be wearing. So even though I'll stick out in the Norwegian wastelands, I'll feel good.
Yeah. On the other hand, when you possibly take a look on the shelter itself, we are going to provide you with the variation of colors and stuff like that for the improvements that you can change their look. And currently there's just one state of the improvement, but there's going to be more of them, so you can clearly see if a player has the shelter improvement on the first level or if it's on the topmost level. That's going to change a lot. Yeah. So eventually we would like to add the possibility to visit other shelters, and people can even brag that, yeah, my log of wood is actually the sawmill.
It'll be nice getting to visit friend shelters and seeing what they've done that you haven't yet.
Yeah. People are asking about different weather conditions in the levels. Like they're actually asking about the night. Are we going to do something like that? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. It'd take a lot of the fun away in the game to have the night conditions. You wouldn't really be able to see very far.
Yeah.
It would look amazing for the tracers, but I think the kind of mist and gloomy settings would do that enough. Don't know if running about a map set at night would add anything more fun to it. It would probably be a case of the maps feeling a lot more emptier.
Exactly. On the other hand, with the weather itself, as you can see, there is rain, there is snow, there is the clear sunny weather. That's something that's going to change in the next update, because at the beginning of each of the encounter, the weather is going to be randomized for you for the map. So everyone's going to have the same weather in the encounter, but it's going to differ for each encounter. Yeah, so that's a huge change.
I feel all alone. They're all gonna come for me.
They're just looting the stuff, it seems. Nice.
Not nice enough.
Not in the end.
He's got a nice hat though.
Yeah. Here's a style. So, yeah. Do you have anything that you would like to share with the people out there who've been great in the chat? Thanks a lot for all the questions.
No, just keep up with the feedback on Reddit, Discord, anywhere else. We do lurk and read, so long as the feedback's there, we take it on board and try and use it for the future.
Yeah. Like, a huge thanks to all of you for playing the game and for enjoying it. We are definitely working on making the game even better, and thanks to your feedback we are able to do so. So the feedback is most precious for us. Yeah. So currently we are preparing the update this week, which is going to be one of the smaller ones, and then we are working on the bigger update, and you've seen some screens from that. Most likely we are going to share those screens on the social networks, so you can either see them in the video on demand or on the social networks later on. Yeah. So thanks a lot for the stream.
Oh, thank you for having me, and thanks for all the good questions.
Yeah, like it was great. Thanks a lot everyone, and see you in 2 weeks. Yeah, most likely with Perry this time instead of me. Cool. Thanks a lot.
See you later.